John, thank you for joining us. Tell me, how important is data to the work of Creative Scotland?
Data is a lifeblood for us. Now, the digital transformation program we kicked off a year and a half ago. It was all about looking at how can we improve the funding, the whole process of Creative Scotland, and data is and always will be a critical part of that. We chose three pillars within this transformation program. One was the funding pillar, one was looking at smarter working, and the other one was data. And we knew we had a problem with data. And the data problem was that we have built up this data repository for years, for maybe about 10, 15 years. And what we're finding is we just had 10 years of data. And what we then had to do is, how are we going to move that forward to allow us to modernize, to change, and to grow as an organization? And we had multiple versions of the same kind of record for a person. So we support theatres, for example. We had 5 records for one theatre. We support individuals, and if they applied for funding 5 times in the last 10 years, we had 5 records. So we had a big problem with data quality.
So what was the plan to tackle this?
But we chose to do a prototype with Civica. We decided to work with Civica and their product set to give us a quick 2-week, I think it took in terms of resource time, a bit more lapse time, to create this prototype, to allow us to understand what we could do and how we could clean our data. Well, once we got past the prototype, we did have to go through our procurement, which being a public body, that's what you have to do. After we saw what everybody else was offering and the way Civica were working, we decided that Civica was the right approach from a platform. We then created a data model with the wider data in mind, and taking all the learning, we started off on a program to actually look at the different data sources and to actually create the data map that we'll take forward into production.
And the platform, how would you describe that today?
Our platform is called the Funding Management System. So it's Creative Scotland's funding management system, and it is based very much on Multiview offering the data layer, which then feeds into a Microsoft Dynamics environment, and it uses a modern Angular front end. So we've integrated the data with the cloud environment, with Microsoft, with integration with several other sources.
What does this give you for the future?
The data gives us a really strong future in terms of we have one golden record now, and it allows us to consider how we could develop it Scotland-wide, because the whole vision within Scotland is you could register once for some funding, and then you could apply anywhere and your record is known. So you can have data sharing across independent public bodies. Without something like Multiview or equivalent, you couldn't do that. So what this will do for us is allow us to think about a visionary future, to allow us to create an environment to have a single golden record wider than just Creative Scotland. It could be across the country and across the government.
What learning and advice about taking on a data transformation project like this would you give?
It's interesting the experiences we had and what we've learned from it. And some 2 or 3 things I would say is you have to have a vision of where you want to go. You need to know how the data can enable you to meet the future. So you can't just go with a blank sheet of paper, and don't underestimate the technical side of it, because you do need to have a strong technical team to really maximize the benefit of this. The end user part of the data steward is very straightforward and very simple, but there is a technical database element to it. So don't underestimate that, because to get the best out of this product, have the vision and have a trained set of technical supporters within your organization. And then really the belief to make it happen. It's like these things, it doesn't have to take years, it can take months, as we saw. So you can fast track it and with the right tool. So the understanding is the vision and the people and the belief that it can work.